Hello everyone, thanks for coming to a presentation. Glad you came here today. Today I want to talk about how I was able to motivate my students and keep them active in learning English outside of the classroom last year. It's called Engrade. It's similar benefits to an SNS system, but it's an online gradebook, and the center of its design is a gradebook, as the name says. All of these slideshows can be found at youtube.com at Megakujesi for you to reflect on later. So in Japan, as in all other places, I think a lot of teachers are trying to extend their classrooms using technology, whether it's through things just as simple as email. We want to give our students feedback about their grades and their productivity. In Japan, often people are worried about things like security, so they host a lot of information on private servers at their universities, such as Moodle or Sakai. But for those of us who are not as fortunate, often have problems connecting with our students outside of class. Well, maybe it's not just outside of class. So Engrade might be a way to fill the void for the teacher on the go, where you can access all of your materials for all of your classes from just one certain area. We can engage and collaborate with our students and help them learn through different content online. So during the presentation, I'm going to look at the overview first of Engrade, talk about some limitations, and we'll talk about how to actually get in and get a hands-on experience administrating on the Engrade site. Please save your questions to the end. It's only a 40-minute presentation, so I want to get through everything. So to begin with, I think a lot of students feel a bit isolated when it comes to using new technology, and who wouldn't be? So the most important thing is to have a system that's easy to use and easy to monitor. For teachers, we want to be able to access our students' data and email them anytime we need. So even a kindergartner in the US can use this system. So if your students have a problem using this system, then there's something wrong. So it's no wonder why so many teachers love Engrade. We're going to start from the bottom up and talk about all of its added benefits. To start with, it's 24-hour access for both students and teachers. You can always print off your reports, and students can always access it. I've never had a problem with the server shutting down, and all the data is private and secure. And with a price tag like this, and that'll never change, who could deny it? So the basic tools can be seen here that we can utilize both with the teacher and the student. I'm going to jump around a little bit and talk about these different tools, but today we're not going to talk about the wikis and flashcards, and actually we'll save the discussions to the end as well. So to talk about first is the gradebook. It's the backbone of the whole entire system. There's two different sides of this. Each person has a different interface. Teachers see this. This is where you can enter all your data. It's easy to enter this stuff in. The user interface is really clean. If you click on the student's name, you would see what they see, which is basically a blog roll. You can add assignments very quickly by pushing this button and specify which category the assignment actually is. In the options section, you can change all types of things like weighting of the grades and things like this. And you can also print off your information anytime you want. Your students actually see this on their side, and it just increments automatically as you give them assignments going up. And it breaks down their score in different categories, so it's very easy to understand. So the homework calendar is actually connected directly to the gradebook, and it helps students with their deadlines and sends them reminders. Also, a great added feature is if there's a discussion happening, students can see how many people have responded, so kind of motivates them. So although it's not directly connected to the gradebook, the attendance is a nice tool if you don't want to give students scores for each day of participation. You can record attendance straight down. You can use letters or numbers. I use P, L, and A, and you can change by week. Also, you see that you can view the totals and you can print or export the data in this section as well. So the quizzes are also a great assessment tool. They're automatically graded. Only drawback is they're multiple choice only, so you have to get a bit tricky to change around thing to make fill in the blank questions and things like this. You can just easily create a new quiz, or you can use an old quiz and edit it and republish it. Messaging is really a savior for me. It allows you to get questions or help students who are experiencing problems. You register your email at the beginning, so any emails that you get on Engrade actually get forwarded to your mailing system, and you can quickly answer students' questions. And at the end of the day, you're more productive, and hopefully you're feeling a little bit like this. Now, I wouldn't be doing us any justice if I didn't note all the shortcomings. So to start with is registration. So registration is a bit hard because you can't actually start your registration with a number. You have to use alphanumeric or alphabet letter. You can't have, when you make your registration, you have to give your students codes actually to activate their registration. I don't do this anymore because I had a bad experience, so now what I try to do is actually register their emails for them. And then they can update their information and their passwords at a later time, maybe for their first homework, and that can be up to them. And the wikis and flashcards, as we talked about earlier, do have some disadvantages. They seem great at first, but I think the biggest issue is privacy. Anything that you make with the wikis or flashcards goes completely public. Anybody can see it. Anybody can use it, which is nice because I mean it's a giant repository. You can get your students to use them if you want, but you can't really, as teachers, tell who's making the flashcards, and there's no real way to actually assign grades to the flashcards. So the tool is really, I think, for students in the U.S. and for parents to help students and monitor their actual progress. So I still really can't figure out a way how to make good use of this tool besides integrating it into the wiki. But the wiki itself is a bit underdeveloped, and it's really hard to use. So it's like the only place you can embed the code. But when we're talking about students who don't have the technological know-how, there's no reason to really complicate things with another step. I think it's better for them, better for you, unless you want to be getting a lot of questions for this while you're trying to have assignments be completed. Also, the discussions are quite limited. I guess actually you should call the discussions blogs because they're just big communal blogs, and the system's a bit one way. It doesn't have all the features you would think of for an SNS system in the discussions area. I think this is something both me and my students really didn't like. Because the discussions aren't actually forums. There's no threads. You can't assign grades to each student's participation. And basically, if you want to grade them, you have to read through every single post and bounce back and forth between your gradebook and the assignment. If you have a lot of students, this is really time-consuming. And they can't actually edit or delete their own posts. So you have to probably monitor the discussions. Or they'll email you when they make a mistake out of embarrassment saying, can you please delete my post for me, which has happened to me many times. So you'd think with a system like this, you'd be able to integrate some Web 2.0 tools. This is not the case. Nothing can be really integrated directly with Engrade. You need to take one more step by giving them a link, and then they have to copy and paste the link. It's actually not a hyperlink, so this can be a bit annoying, and it can definitely lead to some problems. There's no apps for Android or Apple yet. I don't think that they're planning on making any. But there is a mobile site, m.engrade.com, which is similar to an app. It has a compressed version of the website, and this makes it really easy to access this from multiple devices. You gotta update though. This is the most important thing I had a lot of problems with. If your students don't have browsers up to date, they're going to experience a lot of problems. I often just have them download Firefox at the beginning of the semester, and then that way you don't have to deal with issues later. So hopefully I was able to give you a good understanding of the UI, some potential pitfalls, and let's now have a hands-on look at how to use Engrade and administer it. We're going to log into our Engrade site and then look at these three different aspects.